did not give up, right? He said, okay, I'm trying something. I don't think it makes sense. Was he following the steps of the mathematician during the problem? Yes. When I taught the first RCD unit, I had not explicitly taught the mathematical practice standards, and I felt as if the students' frustration level was much higher than I wanted it to be. So before I started the second unit, I decided that I wanted to explicitly teach those mathematical practice standards. And I can tell as we've gone on to the next units, the time that I've spent teaching those standards has really allowed them to tackle the problems and performance tasks in the RCD units much better than they were able to in the past. In today's lesson, I just focused on mathematical practice standard 1, which is make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. All right, today we're going to be learning about the best ways to solve problems. Learning how to do that is going to make us stronger mathematicians, right? So today we're going to look at standard for mathematical practice 1. You should have a copy of that in front of you. Remember, there are 8 standards for mathematical practice, but today we're going to focus on just one. Usually, Francisco, when we're doing math, do we only use one, or when we're working on problems, do we usually use more than one?
More than one.
More than one. But today we're going to focus on just standard 1. Who can read that standard for me? The mathematical practice standards should be explicitly taught. Students are going to have to use those on a daily basis when they're solving math problems or working in any kind of math now within Common Core. So explicitly teaching them will make it much easier for them to apply that to their work later. Good. The standard says make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. Persevere sounds like an important word, Ethan. What does persevere mean? To try your best. Okay, Leah, can you add some more to that? At this grade level, the idea of perseverance is really important, especially because they're being much more mathematically challenged than they were in the past. So in order for students to have that confidence not to give up or to try multiple strategies, perseverance is something I think is important to stress every day, but spend quite a bit of time on building that skill in students. Okay, so that is your goal for today, right? That's your learning target. I can figure out what a problem is asking and solve it without what? Giving up. Oh, that should have been a whole group response. What does number 1 say? What's the first thing we're going to do? Ethan, what does number 1 say? It's right there on the table. Melanie has it.
Read and underline the question.
First, read and underline the question. Good. Lisbeth, number 2. So as I'm planning the lessons for the mathematical practice standards, I pull problems from a variety of sources. Sometimes they're problems that I create. Sometimes they're problems that I pull from the RCD unit. Sometimes I take a problem and then over the course of the week I alter it just slightly so that it's a little bit different, but they're always less rigorous than what they would be doing if we were practicing a content standard.
And we said when strategy you think will solve the problem.
Number 4 is decide on the strategy you think will solve the problem.
Decide on the strategy you think will solve the problem. It's because I didn't hear you that good.
We could draw a picture.
Yeah.
And we also could do a different light. Or we could do math. Multiplication, division.
I know a multiplication problem we could do.
After the students finished working in groups and solved the problems, I chose several students to present those problems in the class for 2 reasons. One, I wanted them to get feedback from the other students. I wanted them to analyze each other's thinking and look at the different ways they tackled the problems. And then within Common Core, that idea of improving their speaking and listening skills is very important, so that's another way to infuse that standard within math.
First, I use a higher number, and then I was thinking if I subtract it down, it will equal up to a number that I was using for this pencil problem.
All right, so let's talk this through, right? We're thinking like a mathematician. Thinking back to our mathematical practice standard, let's pretend we're at the step during the problem, right? One of the students that I chose to present their problem had the incorrect answer, and I knew that prior to choosing him. And I wanted to do that so that I could really highlight the skill of perseverance. So I had him present his solution, get some feedback from the group, and then go back to try to solve the problem again. And it was a good opportunity for me to show the whole class the importance of perseverance and what happens when we don't give up, and that in the end you can be successful even if you had some failed attempts along the way. He did not give up, right? He said, okay, I'm trying something. I don't think it makes sense. Was he following the steps of the mathematician during the problem? Yes. Yes? Did he think about what the mathematician does after he comes up with a solution? Yes. Yes? Did he change his plan if it wasn't working out? Yes. Yes. So we saw a good example of it here. What about Josiah? Is Josiah showing us a good example of persevere? Yes. Yes, because what's he doing right now?
He's checking.
Right? He's trying that solution. He got feedback from the group, and instead of just saying, okay, well, I got it wrong, I give up, he went back to his seat and is applying the feedback he got. And is he working to come up with a solution? Yes. All right, good job. Pat yourselves on the back. The last thing I did in the lesson was ask students to self-evaluate their work on that activity. So they assign themselves a number from 1 to 5, rating their level of understanding or how comfortable they are applying that standard. And that's something we do on a daily basis. And then I go through those papers and actually pull those students back who rated themselves at a lower level, not having full understanding or not feeling comfortable applying that standard, and then I work with those students in a small group to discuss or reteach what part of the standard they're actually struggling with.